I've driven for Uber for 5 years now. Nights mostly. I like the peace. No traffic, no people shouting into phones, no one in a rush. Just me, the road, and a playlist I've heard 1,000 times. It's easy money, or at least it used to be. But one ride last fall made me think twice about ever driving again. It was just after 2 a.m., a Friday night sliding into Saturday. I just dropped off a group of drunk college kids who tipped me in loose change and energy drink cans. I was parked near a 24-hour gas station sipping coffee when a ride request came in. The pickup was at Hillhurst Apartments. I knew the place. A crumbling set of buildings on the edge of town that always looked condemned but somehow wasn't. The destination just said Halpern Bridge. No number, no cross street, just that name. That alone gave me pause. Halpern Bridge is out by the river. There's nothing out there but woods, old fishing trails, and a bridge no one uses anymore. It was condemned after a flood damaged the foundation years ago. Teens go out there sometimes to scare each other, but that's about it. No one lives out there. No one goes out there for anything good. Still, I accepted. Curiosity, boredom, habit, maybe all three. I drove to Hillhurst and pulled into the cracked parking lot. The only light came from a hallway fixture above a side door, flickering weakly. The windows were all dark. I sent a text to let the rider know I'd arrived. No reply. I waited. A few seconds later, a woman stepped into view from the shadows. Not through the building, around it, like she'd come from the back. She moved slowly, deliberately, her long hair hanging down over part of her face. She wasn't stumbling, wasn't slurring, not drunk. But she looked drained. Her clothes were oversized, loose, dark sweater, faded jeans. Her skin looked like it hadn't felt sunlight in days. She got in the back without saying a word. I looked in the rearview mirror. "Lena," she nodded once. Then very softly she said, "This is my last ride." I chuckled awkwardly. "Long night?" She didn't respond. I tapped the app to start the ride and pulled out of the lot. The silence in that car was heavy. No music, no small talk, just the occasional hum of tires hitting uneven pavement. Every time I checked the mirror, she was still staring out the window, face blank. Her hands were folded in her lap. No phone. No movement. We drove out past the last stretch of city lights, onto the 2-lane highway lined with thick trees and no streetlights. That part of the drive always makes me uneasy, even in daylight. At night, it feels like you're driving through a tunnel made of trees and fog. 10 minutes in, as we turned onto the final stretch of road leading to the bridge, she spoke again. "You've been here before, haven't you?" I glanced up. Her voice was clear now. Not slurred, not tired, just quiet. "Not in a while," I replied. "You live near here or something?" She shook her head. "You dropped someone off here once, but you never saw what happened after." That made my stomach tighten. The road twisted again and the bridge came into view. It looked worse than I remembered. Rusted guardrails, chunks of broken concrete, graffiti scrawled across the middle like a warning. I slowed the car. "Are you sure this is the right place?" "Yes," she said. "Just pull over by the edge." I parked near the start of the bridge. The river below was invisible in the dark, but I could hear it, rushing, violent. The air smelled of damp wood and old rain. She didn't move. Minutes passed. She just sat there, breathing slow, eyes locked ahead. I started to ask if she was okay when she finally opened the door and stepped out. She stood at the edge of the bridge, facing the water. I watched her in the side mirror. Something about her posture bothered me. Her arms hung loose, her shoulders were too still. I got out of the car and called to her. "Do you need me to wait?" She didn't turn around. Then she said, "I don't feel it anymore." "What don't you feel?" "Fear. pain. Cold, I took a step closer. Her hair moved slightly in the wind. I could see her neck now, pale and thin like a wax figure. She turned toward me slowly. That's when I saw her eyes. Not brown, not blue, just gray, like smoke, like something long dead. "I died here," she whispered. "Exactly 3 years ago." My heart jumped. She took a step toward the edge. "Thank you for being kind," she said. "Most people aren't, especially near the end." I lunged forward and said, "Wait," but she leaned back and fell. No scream, no splash, no sound, just gone. I rushed to the edge. The river was pitch black. I couldn't see anything, but I heard it rushing, moving too fast. I called 911, told them what happened. Cops arrived 20 minutes later. They searched both sides of the bridge, downstream, upstream. Divers went in the water, no body, no signs of a fall, no clothing, no drag marks, nothing. But here's where it breaks my brain. There was no record of the ride. When I checked the Uber app, the trip was gone. No history, no profile named Lena, no pickup at Hillhurst. It was like the whole thing never happened. Except for one thing. When I got home, I opened the back seat to check for anything she might have left. There was a single strand of long black hair curled into the fabric, and a torn piece of water-stained notebook paper. 3 words written in faint pencil. "Thank you, James." I never told her my name. I picked up a man from the airport around 12:15 a.m. His name was Russell. He looked like a businessman, mid-40s, clean suit, leather shoes, short hair combed back like he was still trying to impress someone. He wasn't talkative. Just gave me a nod, slid into the back seat and placed a small leather duffel bag on the seat beside him. "Where to?" I asked. He pulled out his phone, squinted at it, then shook his head. "It just died. Can you type in 4887 Northfield Road?" I hesitated. That street sounded familiar, out near the edge of town, mostly woods and a few scattered properties. Still, I nodded, punched it into my GPS and started driving. Rain started falling about 10 minutes in. Light drizzle at first, but steady enough to turn the windshield into a sheet of glistening distortion. The roads were quiet, empty. The kind of night where even passing another car feels strange. Russell didn't say much. He just kept rubbing the top of his bag like there was something alive inside. Every few minutes I'd hear the faint zip of the duffel being opened an inch, then closed again. "You okay back there?" I asked at one point just to break the silence. He paused, then said, "Just making sure it's still closed." That didn't help my nerves. The farther we got from the city, the darker the road became. Streetlights disappeared. Buildings gave way to empty fields and thick tree lines. No other cars, just us and the road. Eventually we reached Northfield Road. I recognized it then, a narrow, cracked strip of asphalt with forest creeping in on both sides. I'd driven this way once before, years ago, when a GPS glitch rerouted me through here. I remembered thinking it felt wrong, like a place forgotten on purpose. I slowed as we neared the house. 4887 Northfield Road, if you could call it a house. It was more like the skeleton of one, a squat, rotting thing half swallowed by vines and moss. The windows were boarded. The front porch sagged like it might collapse under a bird's weight. No lights, no car, no signs of life at all. I double-checked the number. "This is it?" "Yes," Russell said, already unbuckling. "But I need to check something first, in the trunk." He stepped out and walked around to the back of the car. I hesitated. Then I popped the trunk. He stood there with the lid open, not moving, just staring inside. I heard it before I saw anything. Breathing, not his. Something deeper, slower, guttural, coming from the trunk. I felt my skin crawl. Is someone in there? I asked through the open window. He didn't turn around, just said, "You didn't hear that." My fingers tightened on the steering wheel. "What do you mean?" He finally faced me. "I said you didn't hear anything." Then I saw it. Clipped to the inside of his jacket, a badge, but it wasn't police or government. It had a symbol I couldn't place, a black crest over a silver backing, letters I didn't recognize. He reached into his coat. I thought it was a gun, but instead he pulled out a long metallic object that looked like a tuning fork. Sleek, black, humming faintly. Suddenly my dash cam glitched. The screen blinked, then turned off. My phone, which was charging on the dashboard, flickered and shut down. Every light on the dashboard flashed red for a second before stabilizing, and when it did, the air inside the car felt different, heavy, like I was underwater. He stepped back from the trunk. "You're going to drive away," he said. "Right now. You'll go back the way you came and you won't come back." "What's in the bag?" I asked. My voice was shaking. He looked down at it. An anchor. An anchor. To keep things where they belong. He closed the trunk gently, like something inside might wake up. I didn't wait to ask anything else. I threw the car in drive and pulled away, slowly at first, then faster. But I didn't floor it. Something told me not to act scared, like something might chase if I looked too panicked. I didn't stop until I hit the highway. At a truck stop 20 miles out, I finally pulled over. My hands were still shaking. I got out and opened the trunk. Empty. But the interior was damp, like someone had been sweating in there for hours. The fabric smelled like iron, and on the floor mat were long, thin scratches. 4 straight lines like fingers dragged across it, and in one corner dried blood. Just a small smear. I checked the bag in the back seat. Nothing, no bag. He must have taken it without me seeing. I went home, didn't sleep. The next morning I checked the dash cam footage, corrupted, except for one file. Just a single frame. It was blurry, full of static, but clear enough to make out a shape. The trunk was open. Someone was curled inside, pale arms, face turned up, eyes wide open, looking directly at the camera. I tried to report it, to Uber, to the police, but there was no record of a pickup at the airport, no passenger named Russell, no trip to Northfield Road logged in my app. I pulled up the location in my GPS history. The coordinates were still there. I drove back out in daylight, but 4887 Northfield was gone. Not boarded up, not burned, gone. There was nothing but trees and an overgrown dirt clearing, no driveway, no house, not even a foundation. Just a patch of flattened grass where something had once been. And one last thing. As I turned around to head back to my car, I saw it, lying on the grass near where the trunk would have opened. A torn leather strap, and a single deep scratch across the earth, like a line drawn with a desperate hand.